everyone, Pineaaronapple here with our next episode of Titans. Episode 3, Hank and Dawn. Last episode we were introduced to Donna Troy, who along with Dick found a clue to Corey's origin. Although, as they find this out, Corey's flashbacks ramp up and Rachel attempts to help, only unlocking her original intentions, and Corey attacks Rachel. With our recap out of the way, let's get into the episode. We open way back in Flashback Land, with Hank doing his first run as Hawk, with a peculiarly darker and masculine dove. Obviously not the dove we know today. They carry out vigilante justice on a suspected pedo as Hank proclaims, being superheroes is gonna be awesome. Although with Dawn laying in this hospital bed, that aged a bit harshly. In modern day, Hank drinks by the comatose Dawn's bedside, obviously not in the best of mental states, and then proceeds to break into a secure area and appear to pill up, sending him back to Flashback Land. He plays footy or rugby, whatever you want to call it, in his childhood with someone cheering to the confused staring of the coach. This turns out to be Hank's brother Don, and in another revelation on top of that, I am pretty sure the coach is a big pedo, who threatens them like a real jackass. So instead of letting Mr. Peter take his younger brother, Hank follows him instead. Years later, Don watches Hank in a professional game get absolutely bashed, and instead of taking the healthy and safe option, decides to drink. Not such a good idea as it happens, shown when he gets sent headfirst into the floor by gravity. Hank is prescribed pills and is told not to play, but in his ever-growing smarts, he decides to keep playing. So for Hank's own good, Don calls the sport authorities, causing Hank to lash out, starting a library brawl. Not the most intense sentence, but this fight scene is pretty good, even if the editors could have laid off on the cuts. Don and Hank are punished, and Don fantastically speaks up for Hank, and the two are seemingly expelled. Hank in his flashbacks starts to see, or miss, visions of Rachel, as he laments over his poor personality, while Don blames himself for what happened with the pedo. Don recommends a way to release their anger, and their best idea to come to mind is beating up sexual predators that have evaded justice. On top of that, their mother also died, apparently from the system, and Don requests training from Hank. Rachel appears again, and this time we are catapulted into Dawn's psyche, as we are subject to a long excerpt of Vivaldi's Winter. Dawn has a meal with her mother, and it seems her mother is having trouble with a relationship, although without context, Dawn sounds unnecessarily outraged. But that feeling is quelled when we learn of this man's abusive nature. But really, we should have been keyed in a little earlier than that to make Dawn seem less unnecessarily enraged. I was also interested to find in the comic of Hawk and Dove, Dawn's mentioned sister, Holly, takes on the Hawk mantle, making them a sister duo. Not exactly relevant, but could prove an interesting comic to cover here. Back with Hank and Dom, they are distractingly excited of their newspaper coverage. So much so they run into Dawn and her mother meeting with a nice awkward vibe. But a sudden, and I really mean sudden, it looks like one of those green screen car crash effects, car barrels into a truck that Rube Goldberg's into both Dom and Dawn's mum. Dawn and Hank attend a grief counselling group, though neither of them are very good at it, and they meet once again in a bar, doing reintroductions over beers. Hank is rude, though apologises afterwards. If this episode does one thing well, I have to say that while largely uninteresting separately, these two do have great chemistry and material to work with. At the next meeting, Hank is absent, and Dawn has a nice emotional monologue, explaining her hatred over not being able to blame anyone for the accident. After the meeting, Hank asks Dawn for a drink, and they bond over some nicely cinematic and cute scenes. After being close to sleeping over, showing a little too much nudity, for the love of all that is holy, cover your shoulder, you hoe! She finds the old Hawk suit, and Hank shows her the old videos that him and his brother took. Hank finally opens up about the pedo incident to Dawn, although with the Hawk and Dove Avenue, Dawn thinks that the coach should be punished. Dawn finds his name and address, although not erasing enough evidence to stop a single button press from Hank figuring out her plan. Once inside, her plan goes haywire as the pedo pulling a gun turns into a fist fight that, if not for Hank appearing in the nick of time, would have been anyone's game. After a beating, he admits his evil deeds, and with a strange line delivery from Dawn, we also find his child porn stash. Dawn closes the door ominously, and the two eventually return home and bang? I'm not sure, but that ain't really in my top 10 things to do after assaulting and probably killing a pedophile. Also, I have no idea why they decide standing up in the middle of the lounge room is the best place to start stripping and getting it on. Dawn goes to leave Hank, but a vision from Rachel wakes her up in the hospital, and eventually she wakes Hank from his stupor, and the episode ends with their mission being clear: find Jason Todd. This episode was stacked with character building and positive exposition for Hank and Dawn, and although a lot of it can be quite odd, it was engaging and contains some great and visually interesting shots. Even if it does little to further the larger plot, and certainly blue balls those wanting to see where the last episode's cliffhanger ended up, it works quite well in isolation, whether as a separate story or as a part of this season as a whole. I give episode 9 of Titans, Hank and Dawn, an 8 out of 10. Thank you everybody so much for watching this video. I will be taking a break reviewing Titans, as Doctor Who Flux will be coming out weekly, and even though I haven't reviewed the previous seasons or much other content from the Doctor Who universe, I will be doing weekly reviews of this season. They might be a little later than the usual day considering how they come out in my country, but I will still be endeavouring to do the weekly uploads that I usually do. Please like the video if you liked it, write a comment down below if you wish, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring the notification bell so you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.